Hey fish people, welcome back to another installment of Simple Fish Keeping. This time we're going to talk about when do you actually have to change those dandy little cartridges you get when you first get a hang-on bag filter. Since most people's gateway filter is a hang-on bag filter, because most people will be getting a kit when they go to the aquarium store, fish store, I don't know why I said aquarium store, and that's kind of like you see a lot of hang-on bag filters when you walk in, and the kits all come with them. So this kind of just made sense to ask some people this question. You're going to hear a lot about, modifying your filters to not have to use those cartridges, because some people don't like the active carbon, some people just don't like the cartridges. So you have a nice assortment of answers with this one. So as always, thank you to all the channels that agreed to participate in this. And of course, all the channels will be linked down in the description in order that they appeared in the video. I hope you guys enjoy the video.
The question is, how often do you change your cartridges on your hang-on-the-back filter? And I will just have to say, fishy friends don't let fishy friends use cartridges on their hang-on-the-back filters. There are much better ways to use a hang-on-the-back filter. And for me personally, I like to take a small piece of Fluval sponge, put that into the filter, and on top of that, take a small aquarium bag, put some aquarium biomedia in it, and put that on top. When I'm doing a water change and that media is a little extra dirty or has a bunch of algae built up on top, I will take that out and put it in the 5-gallon bucket with the dirty tank water, kind of rinse it off the best I can, squeeze it out, and put it back onto the filter. But fishy friends, again, don't let fishy friends use those cartridges. There are just much better ways to use a hang-on-the-back.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions about having to change your cartridge in your hang-on-the-back filter monthly or on any kind of a schedule. I think the most important thing to do is make sure your cartridge is clean. Clean it out and just make sure you're keeping it clean. I think people waste money on buying new cartridges to stick in their hang-on-the-back filter when really they can go a long way. Once you see that they're starting to break up and stuff, then maybe you're gonna wanna replace that cartridge, but you don't have to do it once a month.
What up, fish people? Kenny E with Danica Aquatics. How often do I really need to change the cartridges in my HOB, hang on the back filter? I clean them every time I do a water change. I at least clean the outside of them. First thing I do though, I'm not typically using the cartridges that come with them. I will usually cut out my own sponge and put that back there. I'm not a fan of the activated carbon, so I generally do not use the manufacturer one to put behind there. I do have them, I'm not saying I don't on some of the tanks, but the best bet if you're going to want to do that is I would cut sponge to fit the backside of your canister filter. It's going to do basically the same thing, and you don't have all the carbon and stuff in the cartridges that they supply, which, like I said, I personally am not a fan of carbon. But we do rinse the sponges every time we do a water change. Just get the gunk off there and put it back. But some people believe in doing it, once a month. Whatever fits your needs to where you feel you're giving your fish the best shot of living the best life is my answer. So as always, guys, love your fish. It's going to be Kenny E. Check it out for now. Have a good one.
G'day everyone, Blake here from Blake's Aquatics, and when I'm considering the question of how often to change out the filter cartridges on hang-on backs or other filters, well, actually I'd suggest doing it never, and that's because I don't use them at all. I buy these big sponge blocks here in the porosity of my choosing, generally more coarse than fine, just to limit the amount of times that I have to maintain them in order for the filter to remain functional. But I buy these and just cut them up into the size of my choosing. So if I went out and purchased a hang-on back filter today, I'd take that cartridge, throw it away, measure up and cut a piece of sponge that is going to fit, And then as soon as I see the water flow start to slow up, I'll get myself a bucket of tank water, squeeze out the sponge as you normally would with any other aquarium maintenance, pop it in and it's good to go. It won't have the added benefit that the carbon inside those cartridges does have, which will take out some smells and discoloration, but you can always put in your own activated carbon if you like. So that's my recommendation. Don't use those cartridges at all. They're overpriced and this is very, very easy to maintain and to substitute, so I'd use this instead. So hopefully that helps, and best of luck with your filter maintenance in the future.
Hey there, FishTube. So today's question is, how often should I change the cartridge in my hang-on back filter? And I would say never, because I don't use those cartridges. What I do instead, and there's a lot of videos out there about how to like supercharge or hot rod your hang-on back filter, and what I would do instead is fill it up with sponge, coarse. Different levels of sponge is good. You can use a very coarse sponge, you can use a finer sponge, and then even filter floss for that polish if you really want to get a lot of stuff out of it. I don't use the cartridges that are included with the hang-on back filters at all, really. Once in a while I might put them in at the beginning, but I also put them in with the sponge stuff that I talked about, and I let it go that way, and I don't ever change it. I just let it be a place for more of the beneficial bacteria to accumulate. So I don't think that those filter cartridges are really worth the money. I don't think that they do anything really. The charcoal can be useful for certain situations, so a lot of times it's a good idea to even save that, and maybe once you medicate your tank and you want to help remove some of that medication, you can use the charcoal cartridge to help with that process along with water changes. So my answer to that question is, don't change them, don't use them. Use again, there's a lot of videos out there showing you how to do it, but use different size sponges and filter floss inside of your hang-on back filter to get the most use out of it. Thanks.
How often do I need to change the cartridge in my hang-on the back filter? It's written right there in the instruction manual. It's once a month. Come on, everybody knows that. But no, in reality, absolutely not. You don't need to do it once a month. What I would do is every couple of weeks when you're doing your water change, pull the cartridge out, run it under the sink. Yes, I said the sink, it's gonna be fine. And get all of that debris that's caught up in the sponge, free that from it, get it all out of there so that water can flow through there better, stick it back in there. Do that every couple of weeks. You'll probably get quadruple the amount of life out of those things. The manufacturers are in the business of making money, so they want you to do that every single month. I don't begrudge them that. I mean, hey, it is what it is. Now, if you're super lazy and you just don't want to go from your tank to the sink and then back again, you just want to swap it out, I mean, you could usually go every couple of months, but again, it's going to totally depend on what you have in your tank. If you've got 4 neon tetras in a 10-gallon tank, you're going to be fine doing it every couple of months. But if you've got 26 neon tetras, or you're breeding guppies, or you have a crazy amount of fish in your tanks like Lefty does, then you're probably going to want to do it more regularly than that, maybe even more than once a month. At least clean them out. I mean, let's just not be lazy. How about that?
Ah, yes, the cartridges and the hang on the backs. Look, in my opinion, this is one of the biggest wastes of money in the fish keeping hobby. To answer the question, you're supposed to replace the cartridges when they get gunky, or if you go to rinse them in your dirty bucket of water and the gunk doesn't seem to come off, then it's time to change your cartridge. Or if the water isn't freely flowing through it, time to change your cartridge. I will suggest to you that a more cost-efficient way to run your hang on the back filters is to buy your filter media in bulk, whether through Aquarium Co-op or Amazon. I recently did a video on all the filter media that I like to buy, primarily off of Amazon, and that way you can really cut them up or distribute them amongst your different hang on the backs, or if you only have one, you're really going to save a lot of money in the long run of the life of your tank versus using the cartridges. There's nothing wrong with the cartridges. They do a great job. You just are going to change them quite often, and you're going to be spending a little bit of money for them. If you want a more cost-efficient route, perhaps look into getting your filter media in bulk somewhere?
Okay, well, personally, I have used them forever. Back in the old days, I used to use them over and over. I would wash them out. I would put some new charcoal in them and keep using it because I'm cheap and I didn't want to keep buying brand new ones. And there was no point to it if you can clean them out and just recycle them. But now I actually hot rod them. I've learned more over the years about beneficial bacteria and how you can grow it in your hang off the back filters. And absolutely love it. It just makes everything so much easier. So that's the way you go. You still have to clean your hang off the backs every so often because you don't want the little propeller in there getting all gupped up and wearing down. But how long you use it depends on how much you want to clean it.
How often do I really change the cartridge in my hang on the backs? That's very easy. I would probably say every week. And I don't use the cartridge. I use the cartridge when I first get it, if it came with the machine. But after that, I use polyfill. I just grab it, pull it out and swap it out. It's easy. I'm not going to run out of it. Very affordable, and it keeps the water clear. So I'd say every week.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm Trent Weldon with Well Done Tanks. Question number 3. How often do I really need to change the cartridges in my hang on the back filter? My 100% opinion, ditch the cartridges. If it comes with the the interchangeable cartridges, ditch them. Get rid of them. Now, saying that, I'll still answer the question because that was the question asked to me. If you are using the interchangeable cartridges that you buy from PetSmart, Petco, Amazon, wherever you buy hang on the back filters, once a month, maybe twice a month, a lot of it tends on to how many fish do you have in your tank, how much are you feeding. So I would say a simple rule of thumb, change it once a month. That way it's a simple reminder, it's a simple thing to do, it's going to save you a little bit of money, but ditch them, get rid of them. Buy yourself a piece of coarse sponge, slip that into the back of your hang on the back filter, maybe a little bit of ceramic media, then every other week, just rinse it. Just rinse that out, put it back in. You never have to change a cartridge again. If you're gonna keep the cartridges, about once a month. In my opinion, you're gonna be fine. But if you can move over to something you never have to change, just rinse bi-weekly, that is 100% much better, more sustainable, and ease of use that I would recommend.
So, like most people in this video so far, I don't actually use those sponges in my hang-on backs to filter my aquariums. The only time that I do use them is if I'm medicating my tank for some kind of illness and I've done my water changes per the instructions on the bottle. I put the cartridges back in just for the active carbon because that active carbon will help suck up whatever residual meds are left in the water column that you don't really, when you're medicated, I just want it all out of there and have clean water. So I save them for that. Other than that, I don't use the cartridges. I use AquaClear sponges of various shapes and sizes in all of my hang-on backs. The entire back chamber is filled with them. The only filter that I don't use that in is the Tidal Seachem 55. That has a already piece of very, not fine, but very coarse sponge on the bottom, and it comes with a bag with biomedium in it. I also put 2 AquaClear sponges on top of the coarser sponge because they're a little finer gradient, and then I put my BioBalls on top of that just so there's multiple layers of filtration. And I clean all of my sponges out once a month. I do a once a month maintenance on all my hang-on backs, and that's seems to be enough for me. I do check my impellers maybe every couple months. If I notice the flow is less or I hear a funky noise, I'll instantly go and change or clean the impeller on the hang-on backs. Other than that, once a month for me is how often I clean my sponges out. The only time I replace them is if when I'm cleaning them, they feel super brittle and they're not holding their shape anymore. then I can throw them out and replace them. If you are going to replace your sponges, I wouldn't replace them all at once. I would replace one at a time. That way you don't lose all of your beneficial bacteria that has grown on them. I'm going to give another huge thank you to all my other fellow fishy YouTubers that helped me out with this video. I appreciate all your help very much. Please remember to go check them all out. Links in the description in order they appeared in the video. And if you're new here and enjoyed the content you saw in this video, maybe think about hitting that subscribe button. If you've been around for a while, make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know how you do your hang-on back maintenance, if you use sponges, if you use the cartridges. And leave a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a dislike if you didn't, so I'll never do another hang-on back video again. And until next time, I will see you guys later.